handle it, whether you want to do it individually. I'm not going to say, how you want to do it. Some people are comfortable talking as a group. Some people are more comfortable talking individually. I don't have a problem how it works. I just want to get information that we can come back to the board so we can actually see what we have and see where we need to make some. I mean, there's a lot of areas because the world has changed. The world, it's not like, 100 years ago where things happen over 20, 30 years. The world changes daily. And unfortunately, because of the electronic age, what happens in 10 minutes ago, everybody knows about. So what we think works right now, 10 minutes from now may not work anymore. So we need to have input, but we need to have free input that people don't feel constricted or, that they can't say what they want to say. I mean, nobody's going to insult us by what they say, number one. It's just going to be, we're going to take the information in and work with it, because that's what our job is. And again, I'm not going to go beat a dead horse. We thought what we presented was the best possible choice for the town of Wareham. The town disagreed with us. That came to town meeting. I don't have a problem with that. People came to me after the meeting was over and said, "Aren't you disappointed you lost?" And I said, "No, we didn't come here to win or lose. We came to present what we thought was the best package for Wareham going forward for the next 50 years. Not for tomorrow, but for 50 years. And it's okay. The town doesn't want it. We'll go back and do what the town wants us to do. That's the bottom line." So again, you have to make your decision how you want us to come to you, because it's got to be free flow information.
Mr. Cruz, did you have a suggestion?
Well, I had a suggestion for the chairman. You are the chair. Take a consensus among your board and see how you would like to do it. We should all be receptive to whatever you're doing.
I don't want to superimpose. I want to go from a different direction, Walter, because it was perceived that we basically went ahead and we were bullheaded or whatever you want to say and just charged ahead and did something. It's not the way I want to go forward with this. I want people to feel that it's open. It's not only transparent, which it was before, but it's really open. Because some people can talk to someone, some people get inhibited when there's other people there. So I don't care how it works, but each individual group should be able to come before us how they want and talk to us.
If I may.
It would be like me saying for the town administrator, and I'm maybe talking out of turn, the town administrator could come here with the Board of Selectmen here. Remember, a supermajority, 4 of you hire and fire the man, and he may want to say things that he's not comfortable saying in front of everybody, is how the charter is set up and how it affects him. For us to get a real feel for it, because if you look at the charter when it was done back 10 years ago, the authority and the function of the town administrator changed quite a bit. Basically, they switched. So the only way you're going to get true answers, I think, is each individual has to say how they're comfortable giving the information out. And I don't want to force that on anyone.
So are you having, go ahead, excuse me. Go ahead, Mr. Chair.
If I could make a suggestion for the board before we diverge again onto a, we're already, the hour is moving along and we have other topics to discuss. What I would like to suggest to the board as to how we deal with our input to the Charter Review Committee is that I think that we should all feel free as individuals to make our discussion, our private discussion with the Charter Review Commission at our committee at our convenience. I'd also like to suggest, however, that in order for us to talk about it, we should talk about it as a group as well, because there may be things that between us, one person might not have thought of and another person may have thought of, and ultimately we will be instrumental in making some decisions and voting up and down on what kind of proposals, all of the proposals that are made for change. And I think it's a great educational opportunity for all of us, always open to learning new things and looking at different parts of the charter in a way that maybe somebody else hasn't thought of. So I would like to encourage the board to consider meeting individually with the Charter Review Commission, if you choose, with your ideas, and B, that we have a workshop meeting to go over the charter.
Can I offer a C? A C would be write us a note.
C is a good option as well. Not a novel, a note. Yes, Mrs. Winslow.
Is it possible for the Charter Review to use this room, which can be easily aired on TV, so that the public can watch, and if not for every meeting, but maybe even, after they've done their input, so the public can see? Because I think a big part of the problem before was that people weren't going to that conference room here in the Multi-Service Center, and all of a sudden things just came out that this was happening. I think
Before we get into suggestions about how they should air their, could we just decide on how this board is going to deal? I'd appreciate if we could just decide on how this board is going to deal with our feedback to the Charter Review Commission, and then I really think that how they run their business and whether or not they want to be televised and all of that is something that, if they have a suggestion to make, it's a good, good to make a suggestion, but it should be up to them how they want to do that.
well, they mentioned transparency, so I thought that I was just wondering about the
That's what
feasibility.
open public meetings are for.
Right.
We don't, just so you understand, it doesn't matter how we do it. We've never hidden behind anything.
Absolutely.
From day one, it's always been open. We had things televised, we videotaped actually every meeting that we did to the public. And we did it on our own and put it on the public TV, so I don't.
That's
think-
right.
If you want, we can actually, when we have meetings, if the people who are actually giving us information, if they're not uncomfortable being put on TV, we can do it.
And I think that would be, part of the decision-making process that you would make as a committee. So if we could get back to how we're going to do this as a committee, is that suggestion acceptable?
Sounds fine.
I think that's excellent, that we can all write a note to them and
Or meet with them if we choose, and then we'll have a discussion as a group at some point down the road before the end of June?
Madam
All
Chair,
right, thank
if I
you.
could just, I know,
Add on
and it's
quickly.
my hour that's short, I know, but just one quickie. Mr. Slavin, I see all the boards and commissions and town people here. Are you going to have sessions immediately or early on as you're doing these with public folks?
I'd like to get into July when the summer residents are here, so even though they don't really have representation the way we are, I'd like to get some input where they feel that they are not being represented and where the problems are.
Right.
So I would say July and August should be when we do the public ones.
Because as you know very well, that was the other comment. The public didn't have any input till the end, and those public meetings, and I think it'd be a good opportunity while you're doing these department heads and boards that you have the public in as well, so.
Well, the public had
It's
the
up to you.
opportunity to attend any meeting that they chose as well, so, to say that the public...
Well,
didn't,
I didn't say I said that. I said
Oh, no.
that's what I was told.
No, I
and-
know.
We understand
I'm
that
just-
we're on the same page.
Right, okay. Thank you.
We don't disagree.
Okay, thank you very much. Again, appreciate your hard work, and I'm sure that we'll come up with some continuous process improvements and tweaks that will help our government respond more efficiently and effectively to changing circumstances of our world.
We hope so.
Next on the
Thank you.
agenda, we have a
thank
discussion
you,
about...
Dr. Jones.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Jones.